Is that a piece of gold I see?
When it comes to horror, the 90s were ripe with cheesy slashers of all shapes and sizes, but the most memorable and magical was the Leprechaun. From the Vegas Strip and a couple trips to the hood to the less than stellar adventure to space, the Lep has had some pretty cool locations to play with when it comes to creating epic kills. I'm Jay from Bloodbath & Beyond, and today we're counting down the top 10 best kills from the Leprechaun franchise. In this list, we're counting down a variety of gory, funny, and inventive kills from the entire Leprechaun franchise.
No!
Including the latest reincarnation and critically panned WWE reboot, Leprechaun Origins.
Fuck you, Lucky Charms!
Number 10, Potbelly from Leprechaun 2.
No, you're screwing it all up! Don't worry about it, we'll all get what we want.
With a ton of memorable moments and unique kills, Leprechaun 2 is one of the best in the franchise. One of the more notable deaths is Morty's. Cody traps the Leprechaun in a safe, and Morty takes advantage of the situation by claiming 3 wishes.
You know the routine. You're caught. You owe me 3 wishes.
His first wish is for the Leprechaun's pot of gold, which materializes inside of his stomach, stretching it out and obviously causing him a ton of pain. His second wish is probably one of his bigger mistakes, and that's to let the Leprechaun out of the safe in order to help him. This goes hand in hand with his third wish, which is to have the pot of gold removed from his stomach altogether.
Get it out of me!
Of course, the Leprechaun is a sadistic little jerk and decides to remove the pot of gold by cutting open Morty's stomach, killing him in the process. Number 9, Super Hot Espresso Shot, Leprechaun 2.
What's your next gig, huh? One of Santa's elves or one of the 7 dwarfs?
This death plays out in a coffee shop where the barista, played by Michael McDonald, best known for his role as Stuart on Mad TV, continues to insult and bully the Leprechaun until he boils over.
Boom, gotcha.
Making quick work of the waiter by pinning him to the counter with 2 forks, the Leprechaun blasts steam from the espresso machine straight into his face, causing severe burns and a little bit of face melting. Number 8, Shoddy Too Hottie, Leprechaun in the Hood. In one of the most gory kills in the franchise, Mac Daddy Onassis, played by rapper Ice-T, is accompanied by his bodyguard to confront Butch and Postmaster P in a hallway. The Leprechaun is lurking in the background, and when he's in the hood, he's generally up to no good.
But on the man of green, come to do no good. Lep in the hood, come to do no good. Lep in the hood, come to do no good.
The Leprechaun ends up using magic to blow a hole straight through the henchman like a shotgun blast. It's quick, it's gory, and we even have a little bit of dark humor. Number 7, One Deadly Bong Hit, Leprechaun Back to the Hood.
Yeah, you like that, huh? That's good shit.
With all of the shenanigans going on in the Leprechaun's life, he finally finds a place to just hang out, get some R&R, and, you know, have a dab or two. Some people get paranoid when they're stoned, and well, I guess the Leprechaun gets a little more murderous. The Lep ends up smoking some killer bud, and then proceeds to stick his new stoner friend in the stomach with a bong as we watch it fill up and bubble with blood.
Thanks for the smoke.
Number 6, Babes and Lawnmower Blades, Leprechaun 2.
Just a second. I took the whole night off for you. And what about those chili dogs?
Growing up and catching the first few Leprechaun movies on late-night horror movie marathons, this kill holds a very special place in my heart, as it was one of the first set of bare breasts that I had ever seen. Bridget, who moments earlier turned down Ian, stands in her garage and begins to undress. She asks him to kiss her, but what Ian's about to kiss is actually a set of vertical lawnmower blades, and Ian learns the hard way that his fantasy was just an illusion. Despite being an off-screen kill, this is a death that many will recall as being much more graphic than it actually is, simply because of how unique it was.
Was it as good for you as it was for me?
Number 5, Chimney Fakeout, Leprechaun Origins.
It means Twilight Day Dawn.
What the fuck does that mean?
Leprechaun.
Leprechaun Origins was almost unanimously hated by fans of the original series. Instead of casting Warwick Davis, who played all previous renditions of the character, WWE opted to cast wrestler Hornswoggle as the Leprechaun, who bared little to no resemblance to the Leprechaun we came to love, and instead looked more or less like Pumpkinhead's baby brother. That said, there are a couple great gore effects in this film, including a shocking kill where Sophie and Ben accidentally kill their friend Jenny while attempting to lure the Leprechaun into the cabin. Number 4. The Pogo Stick Leprechaun.
Now we're going to play. Do you want to play with me?
While the Leprechaun grew to become a funny, over-the-top killer, the original played it fairly straight. It's definitely goofy, but it's still much darker than its lighthearted sequels. This kill, however, was the first time where we get a taste of the Lep's playful nature when he grabs a pogo stick and decides to jump on a man's chest until he can't breathe.
This old Lep, he played one. He played pogo on his lawn. Teach you to steal me gold.
Number 3. The Sex Bot Leprechaun 3.
Hey, remember the love machine. Come on!
Easily one of the most ambitious and most memorable kills in the entire franchise, this death has a sexy and hilarious build-up in which casino owner Mitch is watching some late-night sex line infomercials. One of the models climbs out of the TV and begins to seduce him. While this is happening, the Leprechaun decides to put his acting chops to the test on a couple late-night commercials.
The signs point to a tragedy about to happen.
At the exact moment that Mitch finally realizes that this has to be fake, the model turns into a life-size robot with a big set of bolt-ons. The sex bot gives him the ride of his life until she eventually electrocutes him. Number 2, Officer Down, Leprechaun Back to the Hood.
Oh, it's your gold. Of course, you're a leprechaun, so we'll just hand it over to you.
Rory and Emily are stopped and harassed by Officers Thompson and Whitaker. The Leprechaun appears and decides to go toe-to-toe with the officers. First, he swiftly takes out Thompson by using his own flashlight against him and sticking it right through his stomach. Next up, we have the epic standoff between Officer Whitaker and the Leprechaun. After a quick action sequence, the officer steps back, not knowing that the Lep had already ripped off his leg completely. Not letting this minor flesh wound get in the way, he attempts to hop over on his good leg but inevitably falls over before bleeding to death off screen. Before we get into our top kill from the Leprechaun franchise, let's take a look at some honorable mentions.
Praise thee, good river. Now give up me golden fruit. A lesson to you, lad. Always wear a prophylactic.
Number 1, the Inflation Leprechaun 3.
What do you keep her around for anyway? She's not worth a damn.
She's got a way of filling out a costume.
I could look just as good, you know.
The most epic death in the franchise is that of casino employee Loretta, played by Carolyn Williams, most famous for her role as Stretch in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Loretta is envious of the casino magician's younger assistant, and she wishes to have her 20-year-old body back.
Give me the body of a stacked 20-year-old.
The Leprechaun grants her wish, and she's walking around the casino floor looking better than ever. That is until Fazio steals her magical coin, forcing the Leprechaun to revoke her wish.
Your boobs are big. Your butt is small. But still you're in for quite a fall.
He starts by inflating her chest an abnormal amount of cup sizes, then adding a little too much lip filler, and finally plumping up her booty to the point that she basically looks like a weird-ass duck. Anyway, she tries to escape, but gets caught on the doorframe, forcing her to pop like a balloon.
Now that was quite a load to have to explode. What a lovely lass. I had to blow up your ass, but now I must hit the road.
What did you think of our list? What were some of your favorite kills from the Leprechaun franchise? If you're a horror fan, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more horror-related top 10s and reviews.